Good morning, people. Good morning. This is Spirit Journey. It's good old Wednesday, hump week. Yes, September 9, 2020. And the time on my clock says 6:48 a.m. I've been up now since 6 a.m. I saw like a little vision today. Many of you who have been following my channel, um, this phenomenon happens when I wake up and I keep my eyes closed and lie still. Sometimes I could see visuals, a vision. Today is what I picked up. I saw geometrical shape. It was an octagon. This time I counted the sides real quick. Eight-sided shape. An octagon had 8 sides, and I remember seeing it in an aerial view, uh, but diagonally to their, it would be my left, diagonally in front of me, but still elevated. Not so elevated, but I was elevated. The vision of it was an elevated view below me, and I saw what looked like a tiger. The one with the stripes, and it was like a yellowish orange, like orangey color, and dark stripes, something like that. And it looked like a stuffed animal, like a toy, and it sat upwards. And there were people at a table. It looked like a coffee table, a light color, like the one I have at home. It reminded me of it. Like low on the table, rectangular shape, a light cover. And to my right of the vision, um, this um, hard to describe, this spiky thing, like a semi-electrical looking, the light emitted from it, um, long jagged edges. I've seen those before. I don't know who the people were. It was hard. I think they were all men. They were doing something at the table. I couldn't figure out. It seemed busy, this scene. It was very faint, though. That's basically what I saw in the vision. And the next thing I want to talk about, I feel a little irritated. Uh, this happened 2 days ago on camera. Yeah, I was filming. Actually, I was filming with my body cam. I think I had my body cam that time. Yeah, I think I had my body cam, and I had my iPhone taking a video. I like doing my walks with the video on. I get to talk to you guys. Create content and share with you guys my little walks to the park or elsewhere. I was irritated. I began to get irritated when I was thinking about it. Um, and it's interesting how our emotions could sometimes get the best of us. And I had to mentally tell myself, don't think those thoughts. It was a couple, an East Asian looking couple, young. They could have been in their early 20s, and they're walking in the same direction I'm walking, and they are way over to my far left. A significant distance, I think. And I'm in the center of the pathway. It's a very broad pathway. And I have my little furry friends with me uh, in the shopping cart. There's no one around me, so I'm social distancing. I'm not talking to anyone, and I'm really having a nice time walking alone, taking my time. And I have to sneeze, and I even sing on the cam. Oh, I got it. I have to sneeze. I think. So I prepare myself. I turn my head, wet, put my head down, and lift up my elbow and sneezed inside my elbow. And when I did that, now they saw that I was social distancing and sneezed like that to protect other people. It was the young man, that said in a nasty voice, "Wear your mask." And it was I felt felt he said it like a jabbing thing. Like it was no love. It was just anger. And I was kind of like lost for words, and I just kind of said, "Oh, it is what it is." I think I said something like that. I didn't expect it. And when I saw them just walking away, walking, continuing onward, I felt like this is the key thing. I felt like he was showing off in front of his female, and it was just something he felt he had to say. And that's when my anger started kicking in, and negative thoughts started circulating in my head, in my mind, what I wanted to say. And you saw that I raised my camera and showed what they looked like from behind. It had just happened, and I had my driver say, "Hey, I'm going to show you these guys." What I don't like about it, this whole thing with COVID, it's that it's bringing out the worst in people. And here I was thinking things that I generally don't think of, but don't think that way. But in anger, sometimes when people get angry, they could come up with things that they would not ordinarily say or really believe in. And I felt that I wanted to hurt to say something retaliatory. And remember in my other video, uh, I think I uploaded it 1 or 2 weeks ago, of something that happened maybe a month ago. Also at the park, I was on my way home this time, and a female, very, very scrawny looking, and the hand gesture, it was like, um, how do you say? It was, I didn't like the gesture, the body language of her against me. Again, there's no one around me at all. I mean, in front of me, it was a long distance, and you see that in the video. There was no, maybe over 100 feet, 200 feet in front of me. It was, and no one's by my side. And yes, people on occasion would walk past me. I'm minding my business. And whether you choose to wear a mask is your choice. What you do to your body that's just affecting you is your business. But someone who's social distancing and not like approaching you without a mask, you know? So I'm not going into your bubble. with you not having a mask, or, and again, you have a mask. See, I think this whole thing with COVID is it's not as serious as they want you to think. They want you to be in fear mode. This year has been so anxious provoking to me. I had members in my household, my pets, my babies. I consider them my little babies. And two of them had to have surgery right at the peak of this COVID. One had to get surgery in April, the other one the end of May or June. And the one from May or June, that was my Shih Tzu who had back surgery, and uh, she didn't respond well emotionally after the surgery for a period of time, quite a while. And she was kind of acting up last night. I'm not sure what's wrong, but I have to really monitor her. Maybe she's walking too much in my apartment. I mean, when we go out, I have her in the stroller. In the apartment, I don't keep her in the crate because I do want her to stretch her legs a little bit. I don't want her to get sores on her body for just sitting, you know. And again, she's a sedentary dog. She doesn't like moving around anyway. And I just allow her to move basically to if she has to go to the bathroom, you know. And that's basically it. She's quiet, but maybe now is maybe she's because you know she is getting more agile now. You know, she's healing nicely, but maybe she overdid it a little yesterday. You know, we didn't go. I didn't have them go out yesterday. I don't think. Yeah, I think we stayed in. Yeah, I think they stayed in yesterday. But either way, I have to keep an eye on her. So I understand what stress could do to people. I also know the stress of having family members and relatives being sick, um, being hospitalized, and dying. There were three deaths, uh, all cousins of mine, within the month. I think two of them within a week, another one a couple of weeks prior, something like that. There were three deaths. And they were all, you know, one was in the 50s, one was, I think, late 50s, uh, 80s. I forget the other one. I know there was three. And then two that was sick. I'm not sure how old one of them was, but they could be in their um, they could be in their 60s. I'm not sure, and another one in their late 50s. So it's, um, people who may be considered high risk. So I understand, and it really made me sad about this the family member being sick. They're not a sickly person, not like colds, flus, things like that, and they work in an environment that they don't have like windows and things like that. They work in a post office and they're kind of crammed and they're breathing in stale air, right? So I do understand, and so I'm not just trying to be what I think maybe the Asian couple maybe thought I was reckless. Who knows? They felt on he felt it enough for him, and again he wants to protect his woman, right? See, I can understand all that surface stuff, that all those basic human emotions. But when people start to act vicious, towards other people, who are social distancing, who are minding their own business. See, it can also go other ways. People could be angry for reasons because of the fear. See, they want you to believe that it's highly contagious. It's not the bubonic plague. It's not Ebola. It's not that. You know that what about AIDS? There are people out there who don't want to who want to engage in sexual activity knowing that there's AIDS out there and that it can kill you. Right? So people are going to be, it's interesting, more careful with a cold or flu than AIDS. That's been around for now almost 40 years. Right? Does that make sense? Now, all throughout these 40 years of my adulthood, 40 years of adulthood, um, you don't really hear of people dying of a cold or flu outside of maybe the very uh, weak and elderly who are already compromised with some chronic health condition, right? And many people get sick and die because they're in a hospital. Yet they don't close down hospitals, even though many people die at the hands of a doctor, an institution, a medical center, because they don't do enough to clean that air. Something. I don't know how something that represents health, that people go to for health, and that's where you get sick. Yet no one is doing anything about that. Women get pregnant and have their babies in hospitals, a place where where it harbors disease that is highly contagious, and that they die. In fact, when I had surgery 11 years ago, I was only in there. I had surgery on my uterus. I had the procedure in the afternoon, and that next morning, first in the afternoon, lunchtime hour, I was sent home. See that? They want you out as quickly as possible because they know the risk of contagions at a place where what's supposed to be wellness to your body, but it's not. And no one's fighting about that. And no one is getting huffy and puffy with the hospital to get you sick and die. It's well documented. Yet I'm out in nature, Mother Nature or Father Nature, whatever you want to call it. And nature is the medicine to be at. Nature, to have on a funky ass mask in nature is a medicine to the body. Okay, it's medicine. It makes you strong. You get a modest amount of sunlight. You get a nice cool air that's charged, that's rich, that invigorates. But instead, you want me to wear a mask in this condition. Again, no one's around me. And you monitor yourself. See, you are responsible for your behavior. I'm not talking about those people who know that they have some bubonic plague and what they're doing is to infect people deliberately. Okay, that's something different. If you're sick, you stay at home, or you wear protective gear, things to protect you from others. Okay? I'm not sick. I'm strong, and I want to stay strong with me and my household, my little pooches that I go out with, and have that freedom, just like that man had the freedom to go out with his woman and have they both had the mask on, and not engage with other people. Okay? They have that right, and I have my right to do what I'm doing. Having that mask for long periods of time and doing it outside of some park, unless they are contagious, I think it's foolish. And I think it's hurtful to your body. You're exerting yourself when you're walking. Your body's going to demand more oxygen, but you have this mask on. That would compromise your body for a chronic, not a chronic, an acute disease. Fainting, you can faint, hit your head, and die. And you have people who had died wearing, little children wearing that mask. People are just in this crisis, are just angry, just getting angry. And I understand anger. I understand. But you don't have a right to be nasty to others. You don't have that right. You keep on your lane, I'll keep on my lane. You're not going to have anything nice to say, don't say it at all. And that's a problem that some New Yorkers have, that we don't mind our business. And if this corona was really, really contagious, then how come Nancy Pelosi felt safe enough to go in an establishment, a hair salon, to get a procedure done at the salon? And she did not have her mask on at a particular time in that salon. She claimed she had it on at other times within the salon. It's just when she came out of the bowl, to get her hair shampooed. That's what she claims. But either way, she didn't have that on, and she didn't feel it was that her life was threatened, because she knows that it really isn't a threat, but they're playing a game. The Democrats are playing the game because it's an election year. See, this is what I think is really eating it. Yeah, people could get sick because, again, there was a member of my family who who had gotten sick, seriously sick, and has recovered. Okay? But if it's that contagious, these people in government, not only will they have a mask, just cover the nose and mouth, they will also have something that covers the eyes. And when I first heard of this, when the lockdown had first happened in March, I had my dogs. I went out and I had a mask, and I put on my goggles, because I know, okay, if this thing is real, my eye gate also has to be protected, because the virus can enter my membranes. Your eye is a membrane, your mouth is a membrane, and you're not, up your nostrils are membranes. And the virus could attach itself to the membrane and get into your blood system. Okay, if it's if it's a real thing. But you don't see them doing that. You don't see them doing that. So yes, they have all these people in New York City walking around with their face mask, the cover the nose and mouth, but they're not wearing goggles. Some are now. Some have like a shield. They wear the mask and a face shield. Okay? But that couple from 2 days ago didn't have their eyes covered. So what up? So what's up with that? So you want to protect yourself so much, and then you're going to verbally attack me because I don't have a mask on, but yet they don't have their eyes covered. And I could easily say, hey, well, your goggles. See, it's getting out of hand, and see, I believe all this is happening. Yes, it's a common cold and flu. And I remember growing up, I was with this child. This child had a cold for about a year. It was yeah, like a year and a half year old, and then sneezing and the runny nose, the typical cold that little children have. None of us had to wear a mask or goggles. Oh no, it's a cold, and no one was dying of it. But yet sometimes people, those who are fragile. See, a lot of times in this news, especially early on with this COVID, once in a blue moon they might mention someone, a teenager. But see, what they try to hide a lot of times, that a lot of these people had underlying chronic disorders. But they don't want you to know that. So they're really coloring the news. And again, people had colds and flus over the decade. But because the media didn't put attention to it, and the same number of people who are dying, they didn't make mention because we all understood what it was: a cold and flu, and sometimes the elderly people in particular get sick, and unfortunately they pass on. But because it's an election year and the opposition want to use this and present it as a crisis and manipulate the media and the health agencies that run the planet, well, they're going to utilize this crisis. Remember, don't waste the crisis. This opposition said, like Hillary Clinton, don't waste a crisis. Yeah, and it's those type of people who are utilizing this exaggerated crisis in America because it's an election year and you want to utilize it for your benefit. And so to try to prevent this election to go off, now you want to do a mail-in and using COVID as an excuse, knowing that you're going to try to steal ballots and fill it in for somebody and mail it. See, they're tricky. And I think this is what it's all about. See, they think and plan ahead, these creatures of deception, because they're liars and cheats. And you have Antifa, who's trying to intimidate people. They say they want peace and no killing, yet they are vandalizing the neighborhoods that they're supposed to be protecting. And neutral neighborhoods, areas with, shopping districts that both black, white, and other races use. Supermarkets, high-end stores, and vandalize and um, what do you call it? Stealing the property. And so, what does someone dying under the police have anything to do with that Gucci product that you want to steal and maybe resell it? One has nothing to do with the other. See, that's what I'm talking about. You have an event, a valid event that happens, and yes, a valid event of someone dying from a cold and flu, a so called virus, and then it's exploited to do an aim. And some people's aim is to try to take over elections that are to take over communities because they have um, a motive. It has nothing to do with health. If it really was a real health crisis that they want you to think, then you all be wearing goggles um, and masks. Okay, and but that's not the case. It's not the case. We just need to chill out. We need to chill out. We are all being played. I want us all healthy. But we have to be careful what we say to one another because that you say certain things to the wrong people and it can escalate the argument and result in someone getting hurt or even killed. You have to stay in your own lane. And if you are sick, you take precautions. Like always. Like what was done last year, the year before, and the decade before, and the decade before that, the millennia. We all did what we had to do to live. Okay, let's stop acting like um, savages. Okay, don't be played. This, and what else? Before I go, what about? Oh, what was I going to say now? Oh, but I just forgot what I was going to say. But yeah, it is what it is, and just read it between the lines. It's really not what they want you to think. So, thank you for listening, and peace and love to you. Bye bye.